The Germans have occupied Italy, and they have turned Italy into a series of fortified defense lines. Anglo-American forces are marching northward, but in the face of Germans holding the high ground, these attacks are often stopped, blunted, and very, very bloody. There is a place called Monte Cassino, which has a monastery on the top of a mountain, Mount Cassino. That's what Monte Cassino means. And American forces have tried already on two separate occasions to send troops up this mountain and take the monastery. But the Germans have mortars, they have machine guns, they have some artillery up there, they've got troops, they're dug in, they're not going anywhere. And thus far, we have avoided direct attacks against the monastery because Leonardo da Vinci painted his Last Supper there. Well, after the second attack, the American commander says, enough of this. I don't care. If it's a choice between saving American lives and preserving a painting, screw the painting. So he orders the bombing of the monastery. And the monastery is pretty much flattened. Now, you'd think that that would affect the Germans. It does. It's actually easier to defend a flattened monastery, a bunch of rubble piles, than it was to defend the old walls of the monastery. So the Germans are still dug in. After a bloody battle with advances and lots of casualties, the American forces take Monte Cassino. After the battle, amazingly, one of the only parts of the monastery not to be destroyed is the wall with the Last Supper painting on it. It's got some machine gun holes in it, but they can be spackled and repaired, and the painting is ultimately restored, as is the monastery around it. But it's the site of a nasty battle. This is all south of Rome. The Americans get an idea, and the British, that the advantage that they have is they control the air and the sea. So what we do is we go around the fortified line that the Germans are holding, and we land at Anzio near Rome, and we take Rome from behind them. We either capture the Germans or we force them to withdraw several hundred miles north of Rome. The problem is, this is going to require aggression. Real aggression. Now, there were a couple of times when American and British forces were almost driven back into the sea at the Battle of Salerno. So, the American general, I think his name is Buckner, the American general that they give the job of landing at Anzio to, is given this conflicted set of orders. On the one hand, be super aggressive and take Rome as quickly as possible, but on the other hand, secure your beachhead. And Buckner, after the experience at Salerno, is not going to risk getting pushed back into the sea. So American troops land at Anzio. The Germans are shocked. There's an open road to Rome, and the Americans fortify their beachhead. Instead of going after Rome aggressively, they let the Germans fortify the road to Rome, and soon Anzio becomes this bloody pocket, a lot like Anzac Cove, where the Aussies were in Gallipoli in World War I. In this battle, another American hero is going to be revealed. His name is Audie Murphy. He's the most decorated soldier in the American Army in World War II. And one of the many places that he fights is at Anzio. See the associated materials for some information about him. So Anzio fails, but finally we drive our way northward into Rome. Rome is declared at the last minute an open city, which means the Germans aren't going to defend it, and we're not going to bomb it into ruin. And on June 4th, 1944, American forces take Rome, and the Germans establish a new defensive line in central Italy called the Gothic Line. Meanwhile, Mussolini is given command over a puppet state in North Italy, but the soft underbelly does turn out to be a tough gut. We do drive the Germans and the Italians out of North Africa, out of Sicily, and out of southern Italy, right up to the Gothic Line just north of Rome. But we do not find a place to break through into the south region of Grossdeutschreich and its various allies. Remember also that throughout this, Switzerland is neutral.